So the first challenge is they have to climb 255-foot dam, and Teresa is having a hard time with this because she's got these big, heavy. They all do. They have these big, heavy packs on their
Packs, yeah.
backs. She gets to the top, and then they find out the next thing they're going to do is they're going to be submerged in an airplane fuselage, strapped in underwater. Welcome to We Wine Whenever. Grab your glass and join 3 Jersey Shore housewives, Wendy, Kelly, and Lori, as they dive into everything from Bravo drama to life's everyday chaos. It's unfiltered, it's hilarious, and it's the real talk you've been waiting for, from relationship to pop culture. We drink wine whenever, and we hope you do too. Don't forget to subscribe and give us a 5-star review. Cheers! Hi, welcome to We Wine Whenever. I'm Wendy.
And I'm Lori.
And we are talking about Special Forces, Season 1, Episode number 2. Actually, it's not Season 1, it's Season 4.
Season 4, yeah.
Season 4, Episode number 2. This one's called Survival. We are on day 2, and there's 17 people remaining when we start the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Teresa is complaining about not having napkins while she's eating breakfast, which I think is so funny.
Good God.
So funny.
Think of all the things.
I know.
Of all the things. You're like pooping on a piece of plywood with a hole and
on a napkin. I
breakfast
know.
napkins. Oh my God.
So we find out today that they're going to be working in pairs. And Jussie Smollett says, you have to treat this like sobriety. You have to take this one day at a time.
I thought that was a really good saying. I have that written down too. I thought that was really good. I liked it. Yeah.
So the first challenge is they have to climb 255-foot dam, and Teresa is having a hard time with this because she's got these big, heavy. They all do. They have these big, heavy packs on their backs. Yeah. It's not like they're just hiking it, with nothing, but they have all their gear on.
Yeah, definitely. Like if you would have trained for this with one of those like weighted, those weighted vests.
Yeah.
Would be a really good idea. And I also saw, because remember last episode, I said that I had seen something where Gia had said that, the guys would help. And I was looking for it, and I did notice them picking up some of the girls' packs when they were going up that thing. And they said that it looks like Mars. It really did look like you had landed on Mars. Just the terrain and everything. I really liked this episode.
Yeah, no, I did too. And honestly, I think that these episodes go by so fast.
Well, very fast. Very fast.
So she's out of breath. She's having a hard time breathing. The DS yells at her to put her pack back on, or her daughter's going to be without her. So she puts it on. She gets to the top, and then they find out the next thing they're going to do is they're going to be submerged in an airplane fuselage, strapped in underwater.
Yeah.
In a pair, and they have to hold their breath for 20 seconds and then escape through a specific door.
Now, when they were going up that thing, and there was that whole backpack issue, when Gia said that she's always in protection mode, and then the DS said, now show your daughter what you can do.
Yeah.
I was just like, you know what? I feel like this is going to go somewhere, and it certainly did later on.
Yes.
But I thought to myself, and I wrote it down, like, that's such a shame that Gia feels like that's how Gia feels.
Yeah. I mean, she has, and like she said, she's been doing it since she was 13 years old. She's been there,
Yeah.
She had to grow up way too young.
Yeah, but this thing with the plane was like,
it was crazy.
And I was freaking out watching, because my thought process was, because it was on a bridge. Okay. So they had this crane on the bridge, and the crane loaded this like fuselage of a plane down into the water. My thought was like, oh my God, like if that cable to that crane broke and you were inside it, it would just have this like submerged and like drop down. It's just like, oh my God.
Yeah, then that was serious. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I don't know. I think I would be freaking out too with the water coming in like that.
Forget it.
Yeah. So the first team to go are Eva and Jussie. And listen, I give Eva props. Like, she did it. I mean, she was freaking out, and Jussie did it, but he went out the wrong door.
Yeah.
I guess you get disoriented when you're underneath there.
You get disoriented. Yeah. And you know what I thought about that too? I would definitely have panicked. but I feel like he should have let her out first. Like, I just feel like that's something that someone like, say, for instance, my husband or your husband would have just automatically waited this extra second, made sure she was unbuckled, and let her out, whether he was married to her or not, just as
Just to do
something
it.
that they would
Right.
just automatically do. So,
Yeah.
and I wonder if her, because once the two of them go and Jessie goes out the wrong door and she does make it out and she makes it to the top, but
Yeah.
then she starts to, I don't know if it was like, it's a full-blown panic attack, but you don't know what came first. Like, she was just started to drown a little bit and then panicked, or just panicked and then started to drown a little bit, and she just, whoa, the look on her face, she went
Yeah, no,
she
she
went
was
down the
going
rabbit
down.
hole.
Yeah, she was going down. I mean, they had to full out rescue her. Like, when they pulled her out of the water, she was like a limp rag, like
Yeah, yeah,
she was
just that
not.
look on her face. If it was something that was planned, which I don't know, the more I find out about the show, the more I think that it's not all
I don't think it's
staged and
planned.
planned, but it was pretty scary.
Yeah, no, it was definitely scary. And, just watching her, I think that freaked out a lot of other people that were standing, on the sidelines with
Most definitely, sure.
right? Like,
Sure, sure, yeah, yeah. And then
next.
that chicken fry girl, that's
Yep,
who's
Brianna Chicken
next,
Fry.
right? Yeah.
Yep, and the model, Chanel, they failed, they were not able to do it. And then, Cody Brown and Nick Young, they also failed. Then Sean Johnson and his wife and her husband, Andrew East, they passed. They're badass. I think they
Oh,
are a
they are
power
such
couple.
a team, my god. And
Yeah.
I've watched some podcasts with them and stuff, like, what a couple. They're really extremely, extremely nice, kind people, genuinely,
Yeah.
and their relationship is just
Yeah, I
awesome, and they
agree.
have a
I
ton of
agree.
kids.
They do?
They have a ton of kids, yeah.
Oh, I
She
didn't
was
know that.
saying she was saying how she was actually, I have to look and see, but I think it was she was, asked for season 1 and had to say no because she was postpartum, and then thereafter, each time that they invited her, she was either pregnant or postpartum and could never do it. So, at this point, for this season, she was available, and she was like, "Yeah, let's go."
Good for her.
Yeah, yeah.
Good for her. The next is Ravi Patel and Johnny Manziel, and they pass. I don't know who was with Randall Cobb, but he failed. Do you know who was with him?
Yeah, no, I can't sometimes it's very difficult for me to keep them straight, like who's who.
Yeah, and
I
they
wish
don't.
they would put it on the screen or something, because 'cause I'm always trying to figure out, like, who is that?
Yeah, and they don't show us everybody either. Like, we just get like small snippets of it, right?
Yes, yes.
I guess that's why it goes by so fast because there's so many like activities, and if they showed us each one, we wouldn't get through any of the
Any of
story.
the story, yeah.
So then Teresa and Gia go, and Teresa, she fails, obviously. She
Now,
freaks
how
out.
do you like that he called them Tweedledee and Tweedledum?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm sorry, I was laughing.
I know. It's like, but listen, I think Gia is strong. I think she's a strong young lady. And like he said to Teresa, you have to not rely on Gia. Like, you have to be the pillar of strength for yourself.
Yeah, but you definitely a clear path is shown to you of what their relationship is, and Gia is the parent.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in the relationship. I mean, the staff even says it, told Teresa she needs to start taking control of herself and cannot continue to rely on Gia. And then when Gia says afterwards, I had to save her when they get out and they get all back to all the
Mm-hmm.
other contestants, that just kind of just submits it,
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
cements it, just
Yeah.
cements it, just that, you know, that's how that relationship is, unfortunately, which is not
Yeah.
healthy. It's not healthy
No.
for Gia.
No, it's
And it's
not.
not healthy for Teresa either because, you know, and I maybe that's why she ended up with somebody like Louis, because she's never had to, I mean, and even though she went to jail and she did all that and blah, 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 I don't know. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
No, I know. She's been on a lot of podcasts. And one of the things that she said is, she didn't get married till she was 27. which isn't that young, right, in the
No.
big scheme of things,
Right.
but she had a curfew. Her parents were very strict. She had a
Mhm.
curfew up until she got married. So, can you imagine a 27-year-old today having a curfew? And people have asked her, like, what her curfew was. I mean, it was 2 o'clock in the morning, but she's like, I could never go out in the city. She would talk
Right, 'cause
about
she
that
wouldn't be home in time. Right.
because she wouldn't be home in time. You know, these are kind of things that kind of shaped who she is. She grew up with very strict parents, and then she got married at 27, and then Joe really pretty much controlled everything.
Everything.
She just was along for the ride and, signing and didn't know what was going on. And then they get indicted and she goes to jail and he goes to jail. And, Gia was the one there that when she got out was, there standing by her side. And she was just a kid. It's sad,
It
actually.
is sad.
Next is Christy Rampone, and she needs a partner. So Jesse Smollett agrees to go again. He thinks,
I knew he was gonna volunteer. Did you think he was gonna volunteer?
I didn't know. I didn't know.
I kinda knew he was gonna do it. I don't know why,
Well,
but I
you
just
think the
felt like,
second time he would have gotten it right.
well, again, there's certain things that happen and are said that kinda lead you to certain thoughts about people. It's almost like I wonder if he's like, a little bit of a self-sabotager because of things that have happened that I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
So after this, they all head back to the camp, and the DSs decide that they're going to bring in Jesse Smollett and they're going to interrogate him. And he gets in the interrogation room and he admits that he fell flat on his face and that he made the same mistake twice. And the DS asks him, like, why are you here? And he said, well, there's things that have happened to me, things that are extremely public. I was being painted as something that I'm not. And I don't know about this whole story. He's maintaining that, he didn't lie, but he was indicted and he went to jail. And I do know that innocent people go to jail all the time,
Right.
but there's not really an explanation of, why he thinks this happened. I guess he doesn't really want to talk about it, but he thought coming on this show, maybe people would see him in a different light,
Mhm.
which I can understand that. Well, then show us a different light, right?
Right, right. Now, I wanted to say something. After Jessie gets off the plane the second time and goes out the wrong way,
Mm-hmm.
that girl Eva is very sweet to him.
Yes.
But when he went down the second time in the plane, whoever the girl was that he went with,
Christine Rampone.
right, I felt like she could have been a little bit more of a team player, and she could have been like, "You know what? Thanks for going down with me, but I know you messed up last time with the thing, so what if we go together out the door? Or I'll go first and you follow me so you don't mess it up." Like, I don't know.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Well, maybe she thought, I mean, I don't know either, but maybe she thought because he was down there already, he knows
Figure
what
it
to do.
out and no, not
Right.
mess it up again. Yeah, this is
Right.
true. This is
Right?
true.
Like, I don't
Yeah.
know why you think it should be her responsibility to bring him along
No, no,
'cause
no. No, I'm just
yeah,
saying, I just thought about it like, maybe I don't know. That was just my
yeah.
thought that maybe she could have been like a little bit more of a I don't know. Maybe again, like you said, maybe you were just assuming that since he
I would assume since
went
he was
once, she
down
would
there,
know how to go.
right, you did it wrong once, you should know how to do it right the next time, right?
And again, another thing with Teresa, like it's interesting because she says things, and when she says them, you're like, okay, like that sounds normal and understandable. Like when they got out of doing the plane exercise, and Gia said she had to rescue her, and then they were in the car going to the next thing, and Teresa says, they keep telling me I'm slowing you down, and I don't want to. So at face value, that sounds okay, right? Like
Right.
nothing wrong with saying that. But, you know, she's also not making any kind of a positive statement or verifying like a future directive. She's not saying like, I'm going to be more in control because I don't want to slow you down.
Right. Right.
Instead, she's looking for like an affirmation.
From
Like
Gia.
Gia had to say, don't worry, mom, you don't. Like it was,
Right, she put it back on her daughter.
she put it back on her daughter. Right. And I don't know,
Yeah, no, I know
like
what
a
you're
role
saying.
reversal.
Yeah, it's a total role reversal. So when Jesse's in the interrogation, he says, he's afraid of letting himself down. And he says, like, no matter what you say, people are going to find their own narrative. And I want nothing more than to never talk about this again. Well, the problem with that, Jesse, is that's the only thing people know you for right now. That's the
Right.
only thing they know you for. So until you do something else, that's what
Right.
people are going to talk about.
Right.
So you need to make another mark on this world or do something great, or because
Mhm.
that's the only thing they know you for.
And you are on a show, and that
Right.
is your past, and,
Right.
I
Right.
like how the DS said, that he was afraid he was gonna make himself look like a fool, and the DS said, "Well, this course can't make you look like a fool, only you can do that."
That's right. Yeah. So then he gets back into the camp and they ask him how it was. And he's like, it was hot and as hot as hell in that room. They put him
Mhm.
on the spot. He said he wants to be left alone in his life. And they're like, then why'd you come on the show?
Yeah, really. So that's the thing with him, he seems to feel like showing emotion gives others kinda power. Because he
Right.
said it twice. He said it when he was walking away the first time from the plane in the water with the woman Eva, and he started to get emotional. He said it, and then he said it again in the interrogation.
Mm-hmm.
So, and like he said, I just want to be left alone. Like, I wonder, like, maybe does he self sabotage and does he push people away because of all the things that he's gone to? Maybe that's how
Yeah.
he
I mean,
just deals with things.
it's very possible, but I definitely think he could use some therapy. Just
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
Teresa says, I don't know where this comes from, but out of nowhere, she said her ex-boyfriend cheated on her and she knocked him out.
Yeah, I was like that was very random
I was
to
like,
me.
what?
I was like, "Who? I don't know what you're talking about." Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know where that came from, but I wrote it down. I was like, why is she bringing this up? There was no conversation about that.
And how about when she said people think that she's mean or tough? And I was thinking to myself, I never thought you were mean. I never thought you were tough. Well, cuckoo, but that's not an impression I ever got about her.
Think because of the table flipping,
Right, right,
that's what she's notorious for.
right. But
And
to me,
people,
that's just cuckoo. That's not like
yeah,
tough or
yeah.
that's just kooky.
So then we find out the next challenge is milling, and
Had
it's a
you ever
form.
heard of this?
No, I had
No.
not. It's a form of fighting. It's with sheer violence and brutality. You punch and continue to punch until you hear stop.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
again, they're doing this in teams.
Mhm.
So the first to go is Brianna Chicken Fry and Sean Johnson East. And they call stop, and Sean's nose is bleeding, and Brianna's crying because she feels bad. Because listen, first of all, Sean's in very good shape, but she's like 5'2", and Brianna is like 5'8". So like she didn't even
Right.
have a chance. Like the
Yes.
reach and like fighting like that, you can't put those two up against each other, you know?
Right, but
And
they both kicked some ass. They both
they
did
did. I
very
mean,
well.
they did. They did. I mean, actually, that they called the fight a draw, so it's not like one, which was good. And Eva's like freaking out. So she asked to go talk to the psychologist. And the doctor decides that she should not, she should sit this challenge out.
Mhm.
And the next fight was Ravi and Jesse. That was also a draw. And then Randall, Cobb, and Johnny, and Randall wins. Then it's Gia, and that's when we find out it's going to be Gia and Christy. And that's when Teresa takes her armband off, her number off, and she says, "I'm done. I'm withdrawing. I can't watch her fight." And the DS sends her to the doctor.
And again, I just couldn't believe that Teresa did that because in that moment, you're leaving your kid. You're leaving her because of something you can't take.
Yeah, no, and that's how it is, though. That's how it is. She said that she just couldn't sit there and watch her daughter get beat up, that she would want to jump in, which.
But I feel like she did it to spare herself. Or I feel like, you know what, your mother, in that point in time, it really shouldn't have been about you. It should have been about what can I do to make this easier for my kid?
For Gia, right. How can I support
Gia.
her? Yeah.
And that's not what it ended up to be at all.
Yeah. No, it wasn't. So when they fight, Gia and Christy fight, Christy wins. Gia gave it her all, though. But Christy, listen, she's a professional soccer player. So, of
Yeah.
course,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Now, when they were doing some other fighting, it was that I forget his name. I think he's of, like, Indian
Robbie.
descent. Okay, he went into the zone. He got, like, the crazy eyes. He
He
that was
did, and he was fighting with Jussie, and that was a draw, so he did what he needed to do. Yeah,
right, but he got
he
that
did.
crazy look. And the other 2 girls who fought, I don't remember their names either, but they kinda, like, got into it like it was, like, the schoolyard. Like,
Yeah,
one
yeah,
girl fell down and the other girl was, like, on top of her, and, the guy had to say stop several times, and
yeah,
she was, like, beating her when she was down. I was like, "Oh, look at this."
yeah, yeah, I know, that was like a schoolyard fight,
Like a
right?
schoolyard fight, yeah.
Yeah,
And it was interesting how they said that they were watching everyone's emotions while the other people were fighting, and, you can see I believe it was the one girl who was the gymnast. She was, like, chomping on her mouth guard, and, like, it was probably from adrenaline because she had gone already, but I just thought that was very interesting how they said they were
yeah,
observing the other contestants and what their reaction was to the fighting,
yeah,
and you see Gia's totally cowering. Like,
mhm,
she has her body turned away, she's making, like, faces.
yeah. I mean, it is very interesting. I mean, these challenges that they give them are very interesting. I mean, I don't know. I mean, to have to sit there and punch somebody, like, I don't I don't know, like, that's I guess it's just part of the challenge. You just gotta do what you gotta do.
Right. And even, even when they when Teresa left for Gia's fight,
Mhm,
they even did a pan and production even said, the DS said that Teresa Giudice is the second recruit to leave the course with her daughter left to battle on.
mhm. Yeah,
Like,
and
even
that's
they're, like, spelling it out.
yes, yes. So then after, all the fights are done, they go back to the, base camp, and the DSs pull Eva out,
Mhm.
and he takes her armband. He said it's for her safety. She's just not cut out for this.
Mhm, mhm,
And she says goodbye to all of them. Now it's day 2, and it's 8:09 PM, and there's 15 recruits left.
mhm.
So, Gia says her family trauma with people is leaving her triggered.
Yep.
Then they call Gia back, and they wanna find out about her commitment. Again, when they take off her hood, they tell her that she's having a bad hair day.
Mhm,
He says, "It looks like you swallowed a grenade," and she's crying a little bit, and, he's like, "Take a moment, get yourself together," and she said, "Well, when her mom left, she started panicking, like, she made her feel secure." I guess just being there, and I could understand that, having a familiar face, even if she really wasn't helping her,
Well,
just having her there.
that's what I'm saying is that it's just a shame because of her own lack of self-awareness. Teresa went and left her with her biggest fear.
Right,
"What are you doing? What are you
right,
doing?"
right. Right. So she explains to them what happened, that her dad hadn't filed taxes for like 10 years and they were both indicted, and her mom had to do 11 months in prison, and Gia was only 13 at the time when her mom left. And then her father, ever since then, she's had to be an adult that she didn't
Mhm,
really want to be. And,
mhm,
I remember watching her when her mother came home and interacting with her father. And she was the adult in the situation many of the times because she had 3 younger sisters and she felt responsible for them. And they weren't her responsibility, but, at 13 years old, she still felt that responsibility.
mhm.
And the DS tells her she's done her bit and she doesn't have to worry about her mom anymore. And now
Yeah,
maybe, it can be a relief for you.
yeah, he says, "This is your time now, you're not carrying her around anymore." And you know
Yeah,
what? I hope she can stay. I hope she stays, and I hope she can do it because I think it would be really good for her.
I do too. I do too. He said, "Go out there like a pocket rocket and show us what you got."
Mhm,
So, like,
cute.
they're rooting for her, which I like that.
Yeah,
Gia said she's very close with her family and she's really trying to create her own path so that she can stand on her own.
I
And I
think
could
she needs to do that.
Yeah, I do too. And, even the podcast that I listened to, because there was a couple where she was on with her mom and when she was alone. And it's funny because she even presents herself differently on the podcast when her mother's there than when she's not.
Mhm.
You could see
Yeah.
it. It's just what it's all she knows when her
Yes.
mother's around. She was on Jeff Lewis actually, and Jeff Lewis was like, Gia goes to the city like 5 days a week for work. So she does a lot of like brand deals and social media stuff, so she's going back and forth to the city. So she was thinking about getting a place in like Jersey City or Hoboken so she doesn't have to drive because right now it takes her about 3 hours a day with traffic to get back and forth to the
Yeah.
city.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, she's basically on her own except for the fact that she's staying at her mother's house and she's ready to make the move and to get her own place. And, Teresa's like, "Well, if you're going to move out, then you're going to take your stuff with you." And she's like, "No, I want to leave my stuff here because I want to come home for the summer and I want to come home and visit."
Right.
you know, I don't know. Teresa's also like, "Well, I don't know if we're even going to keep this big house because once her younger sister graduates high school, like they may be moving all together." So I think Gia's at this place in her life at 24 years old where she's kind of trying to figure it out. Like, am I just going to move out on my own? And they had people call in because she's got a boyfriend that she's been with for many years. And she said eventually he wants to move in with me. She goes, "But I want to be on my own for a bit." And people were calling her and saying, "You should be on your own for as long as you want to be." Like,
Absolutely.
because as soon as somebody else moves in, you're not going to be alone. Like
No.
you need to, and you're very capable of doing it on your own.
Mhm.
She should get her own place and do her own thing.
Yeah, I think that would be totally awesome for her.
I do too. I was trying to find online because there's all these rumors about like what these people make on this show. I cannot find a definite answer. So I've heard that they get like a flat fee regardless of how long they stay. There's no prize at the end. It's depends on these are things I've heard. It depends on like your level of celebrity to what your flat fee is, anywhere from
Okay.
100 to 200,000 to show up. Then I've seen other people putting out online that they get $25,000 for each episode they stay, but I don't know that any of it's true because I cannot find anything official.
Yeah, I read the 25,000. I read that on one of our posts that someone,
Somebody
said
wrote it. Yeah.
somebody wrote it because they were saying for Britney that she walked away with 25
Yeah. I don't
grand.
think that's true. I don't think
Yeah,
that's true. I
because
like I said,
that I would do. I'd say no to the helicopter. I'd be like, "To show up and do your stuff up until the helicopter? Okay, I'll take that." But yeah, who knows?
yeah, like I don't know because they're not that information hasn't been leaked yet.
At
So
least, yeah, yeah. And did you see on the, coming attractions for the next episode, they have to do this thing where they have to scale, like, walk on a ladder that's bridged across 2 rooftops, and one of the DSs is saying to Cody as he's trying to walk over, "Imagine it's one of your wives over there." I thought that was hysterical.
yes, I did see
Oh, that was
that.
really funny.
I did see that. I'm looking forward to, like I said, learning more about each player. Like I feel like we've only really touched the surface
Yes.
on very few people. Like we don't like we didn't really get to hear Eva's story. Like we don't, and she's gone.
Yeah, I wish they would have done a little bit more of that. I watched a thing on, for Page 6 with DS Foxy, and he said, he had a little bit of headbutting with a chicken fry girl, and, who he thought was most formidable at first glance, was Jesse, and he is the person who on the show that he respects the most, which I thought was very interesting.
He respects Jesse the most. Really?
Yeah, and when asked about Cody, he said he didn't DS Foxy didn't know anything about him, and he said he turned up and he looked like the mad professor, and he said that we will be coming up on a scene with Cody, and that is actually the scene that hasn't come up yet is actually the first time that he really spent any time with him, because with the different teams and the this
Mm-hmm.
and that and the way the filming went, it's not until we get to the scene that it's DS Foxy's first interaction with Cody, and he says that he's going to make this really odd noise, this really weird noise. And his first impression of him was like, he's really weird. Yeah. So I thought that was pretty funny. And then I watched that Sean and Andrew, they have their own little podcast thing, and, that's where I found out about her being asked for the first season, and she worked out 6 days a week for 2 months before the show. And
Training.
they said they didn't know where the location was until right before they left, and they didn't know, they would not put it out who they were going to be with. So they said it was a very interesting thing to really get to know people, not by anything that you can quick Google about them if you really don't know who they are, but just as who they are then and there. So they were saying how, and they had to go through psychological examinations and they had to take personality tests.
Well, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know.
That's interesting. I didn't know
Yeah.
they had a podcast. What else do they talk about on their podcast? Do you know?
I think that they're going to do a recap I think they said every episode. So
Okay.
I'll watch that. And they also say that it was very dusty. So everybody had like this, what they called a desert cough. And later on, we're going to find that there's one person who has to leave because they get a really intense chest infection from that dust that's always. And she said that she felt like it was the best experience of her life. And she felt it was like self-help on steroids, and that the DSs would come into the tents, share their own experiences, and really wanted to get to know each participant and what made them tick and try and like deconstruct them, but then reconstruct them.
Well, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
so I was like, "Oh, good." And then they also said that, that first scene when they get there and they're on the bus and they
Mhm.
pull them off the bus and they make them change, somebody didn't wear a bra. And they said it was, like, really like, "Oh, okay," "Look away." And the guy from that couple, he had never been in a helicopter before. So I was like, "Oh, interesting."
Well, I think I think a lot of people have never been in a
Been in a
helicopter
helicopter
before.
before. Have you been
Yeah.
in one? You've been in one before.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been
Just
in one before.
recently. Just
Yeah,
recently, though. I
yeah,
mean, I hadn't been in one until very recently.
yeah.
So,
So
yeah,
I
that's
like the
interesting.
show, and I like all the background with all the people and what makes them tick and their idiosyncrasies, and I love how the DSs, like I said, wanna deconstruct and reconstruct them. So, I like
No,
it.
I like it too. I like it that it's not just people fighting for the sake of
Yes.
fighting,
Yes,
and
yes.
it's not catty, and it's people trying to help
Oh,
each other.
yes, yes.
That's what I like about it. So, I like the show. I'm here for it, and I'm excited for the next episode.
Me too.
Okay. So until next time, thank you for watching and listening. Please like us, subscribe, and give us 5-star reviews. Bye.
Bye.